Good evening. This is All India Radio, and I am Lalima Aneja Dang, and with me is Abhijit Loreng with the evening news. The headlines. India expects China to work for complete disengagement and de-escalation and full restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas. New Delhi asserts that Islamabad needs to provide unhindered and unimpeded consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Very low coronavirus cases and deaths per million recorded in the country due to proactive response, says Health Minister Harshvardhan. Total COVID-19 recoveries in the country surpassed 13 lakh mark, and first Kisan special parcel train to start from tomorrow for providing seamless supply of perishable produce. India has said it expects China to work with it sincerely for complete disengagement and de-escalation and full restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas. Briefing media this evening, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said India remains committed to this objective. The special representatives of India and China had a telephonic conversation on the 5th of July where they discussed the situation in the India-China border areas. The two special representatives had agreed that early and complete disengagement of the troops along the line of actual control and de-escalation from India-China border areas in accordance with bilateral agreement and protocols and full restoration of peace and tranquility was essential for the smooth overall development of bilateral relations. Replying to a query on Confucius Institutes, Mr. Srivastava highlighted that Ministry of External Affairs had in 2019 issued detailed guidelines for establishment and functioning of foreign cultural centers. He said these guidelines apply also to any cultural center that is supported or sponsored by an autonomous foreign organization, including any Confucius center. Under these guidelines, approval of the ministry is required for any MOU or agreement that such centers might wish to enter into with an Indian organization. The spokesperson said if any Indian institution were to enter into or has entered into an arrangement which would come under the purview of these guidelines, then it would require the approval of the government. India today said it has not received any communication from Pakistan on Kulbhushan Jadhav case. Replying to a query, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said Pakistan needs to provide unhindered, unimpeded consular access to him.
Pakistan needs to address the basic issues which pertain to an effective review in fulfillment and implementation of the ICJ judgment. And these basic issues pertain to one, making relevant documentation available to us, as well as providing unimpeded, unhindered and unconditional consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav.
On Pakistan's new map that includes Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and parts of western Gujarat, the spokesperson said this type of baseless claims show that Pakistan wants to take control of more areas by using cross-border terrorism. On statement by Turkey on Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. Srivastava said it is factually incorrect, biased and unwarranted. He urged Turkey government to get a proper understanding of ground situation and refrain from interfering in internal matters of India.
The Vande Bharat mission is nearing the 1 million mark, making this the largest sustained operation for repatriation of stranded Indians. Briefing media, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said, as of date, nearly 9.5 lakh Indians have returned home under this mission. He said the fifth phase is currently going on, which was operationalized on the 1st of August. Based on the assessment of demand received from Indian missions abroad, the schedule has been augmented with the addition of nearly 60 more flights. The spokesperson said this takes the total flight schedule this month to 746. In addition, around 200 domestic feeder flights are scheduled to reach 24 airports across India. This phase is expected to repatriate more than 130,000 Indians stranded abroad. The bilateral arrangements for establishing the travel bubbles with the US, Germany and France continue to be in place. Multiple flights are operating from these countries and are providing onward connections.
India has sought an assessment on damage from Lebanon caused by Beirut blast. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said that based on the assessment, India will decide the nature of assistance that will be extended to them. He said there has been no reported casualty among Indians.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today advised other nations, including those in the neighborhood, to refrain from commenting on India's internal matters. Mr. Naidu said that the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir was taken in the larger interest to protect the unity, integrity, safety and sovereignty of the country. Delivering the first Sushma Swaraj Memorial Lecture, the Vice President remembered the feelings expressed by late Sushma Swaraj on Article 370 before she passed away. He said, as the External Affairs Minister, she used to articulate India's position quite efficiently and in a sweet and sober manner. Mr. Naidu said, at the same time, she used to convey the stand of the country very firmly. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar remembered Sushma Swaraj on her first death anniversary today. Addressing a function through video conferencing on this occasion, Mr. Javadekar said she was a great human being and used to give respect to her family and friends.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal today said India and Japan are looking to have trusted partners from authentic investors. He was speaking at the third edition of the Invest India Exclusive Investment Forum, Japan edition, through video conference. He said it is important that Japan and India expand trade and business relationships. He said Japan is one of the most important and trusted trading partner. The minister said the government has been preparing strategies and action plan not only for business continuity but is also setting out red carpet for global investors to continue to choose India as a preferred destination for investments.
The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India notified the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India liquidation process, Third Amendment Regulations 2020 today. The regulations require the Committee of Creditors to fix the fee payable to the liquidator. Where the fee has not been fixed by the Committee of Creditors, the regulation provides for a fee as a percentage of the amount released and of the amount distributed by the liquidator. The amended regulations are effective from today. These are available at www.mca.gov.in and www.ibbi.gov.in.
India's proactive and graded multi-level institutional response to COVID made it possible to have very low cases per million and deaths per million in spite of having a high population density. It was informed by Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan today while interacting with WHO Regional Director and Health Ministers of Southeast Asia region. The virtual meet was focused on maintaining essential health services and public health programs in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Harshvardhan spoke about India's tryst with COVID-19. He highlighted how India had been preparing for the pandemic as soon as China informed WHO on the 7th of January. On the efficacy of the lockdown, Dr. Harshvardhan expanded how it was effective in slowing down the rate of growth of cases and gave the government time to augment the health infrastructure and testing facilities. He added that from one lab in January, India has 1,370 labs today. Indians anywhere can access a lab within 3 hours travel time. 33 of the 36 states and union territories exceed WHO's recommendation of testing 140 people per million per day. Total recoveries from COVID-19 in the country surpassed the 13 lakh mark today. A total of 13,28,336 people have recovered so far. In the past 24 hours, 46,121 recoveries have been reported across the country. With this, the recovery rate has improved to 67.61%. The case fatality rate has further declined to 2.07% in the country. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said a total of 56,282 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country within 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 19,64,536. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 5,95,501. 904 deaths have also been reported in a single day, taking the nationwide toll to 40,699.
Centre has released over 890 crore rupees as the second installment of the COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health System Preparedness Package to 22 states and union territories. The amount of the financial assistance is based on the COVID-19 caseload in these states and UTs. Union Health Ministry said the financial aid will be used for strengthening the public health facilities infrastructure for testing, including procurement and installation of RT-PCR machines and RNA extraction kits. The first installment of 3,000 crore rupees was released in April this year. The ministry said, as part of the whole of government approach, Centre is leading the COVID-19 response and management and supporting the states and union territories through technical and financial resources. The COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health System Preparedness Package was announced by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his address to the nation on 24th of March. A total of 1,299 new confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 1,41,531. Delhi government has confirmed that over 1,27,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 1,008 people have recovered and 15 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the total to 4,059. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the national capital is 10,348.
In Gujarat, the gyms, fitness centers and yoga studios reopened from today across the state following new guidelines. Our Ahmedabad correspondent reports that most of the centers have resumed their operations with new normals.
Most of the gyms, fitness centers and yoga studios have started their operations from today following new guidelines. According to new guidelines, gyms and yoga studios can have only 25% of actual capacity of persons at any given time. Many gyms have procured spraying guns and sanitizers so that equipment is sanitized after each use. Despite the opening of gyms and fitness centers after almost 4 months, very few people turned up on the first day. Gym owners and fitness trainers are hoping that after watching arrangements against COVID-19, the people start coming in more numbers in future. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
Kerala reported the highest single-day surge in COVID cases so far as it confirmed 1,298 new cases today. The State Health Department informed that among the new cases, an alarming 1,017 persons contracted the virus through local transmission. 800 recoveries were also reported today. The total active COVID cases in Kerala rose to 11,983. The death toll in the state due to COVID reached 97 as 3 more deaths were confirmed today.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy inaugurated a 900-bed COVID-19 care centre at Edazapanji near Madurai today afternoon. Later, he presided over a COVID-19 review meeting at Madurai. The Chief Minister also laid the foundation for various development projects worth over 300 crore rupees and inaugurated a few welfare programs. The Chief Minister is expected to review the COVID-19 situation at Tirunelveli district tomorrow. Meanwhile, the total number of COVID-19 affected people in Tamil Nadu has crossed 2,79,000 with 5,684 new cases reported today. The recovery has exceeded 2,21,000. Here's a report.
The State Health Department insists that out of all the loss of lives of people infected with the SARS-CoV-2 virus, less than 10% of them died solely due to the infection. All others had comorbidity conditions like uncontrolled diabetes, high blood pressure and other diseases. The government says reducing the mortality rate to as low as possible is being aimed at, which mostly depends on the early admission of the patients for treatment. The mortality rate in the state is currently worked out at 1.64%, while the recovery rate is more than 79%. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
As part of the evacuation process of J&K residents stranded in other parts of the country due to COVID-19 lockdown, the UT administration has so far evacuated about 2,88,699 residents through road via Lakhanpur and through special trains. All necessary guidelines and SOPs were followed in the evacuation process. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that so far the UT administration has received 106 special trains at Jammu and Udhampur railway stations from different states and UTs.
The police force of Maharashtra have also been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. 2 personnel of Nagpur police died of coronavirus today, taking the total tally of police fatalities to 109 in the state. A 50-year-old head constable and a 54-year-old assistant sub-inspector succumbed to COVID-19 infection at government-run hospitals in Nagpur city. Here's more from our correspondent.
Over 10,000 Maharashtra police personnel have so far tested positive for coronavirus and 109 of them have died. An official said the police personnel who tested positive for the disease also included 1,035 officers. As of now, there are 1,859 active cases in the police force, while 8,060 personnel have recovered from the disease. The official said there have been 324 incidents of attacks on police personnel so far during the implementation of the prohibitory orders amid the coronavirus-induced restrictions. 86 police personnel were injured in those incidents. Police arrested 886 people in connection with the assault cases. With Devapriya Bhattacharjee, Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh today said that India has set the tone for global COVID collaboration under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. He said extraordinary foreign outreach of Mr. Modi in the last 6 years has greatly helped in forging such an international coalition against the pandemic. He was speaking after inaugurating a virtual international workshop on COVID-19 good governance practices in a pandemic. The workshop was jointly organized by Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation, Ministry of External Affairs and National Centre for Good Governance, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. In his address, Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan said several developing countries were hit hard by this pandemic due to its limited resources and health and medical infrastructure, but India took the lead in reaching out to fellow countries, both in the region and outside, with medical and other aid. The two-day conference is being attended by 184 participants comprising diplomats, civil servants and health experts from 26 countries spread over South Asia, Southeast Asia, Latin America and Africa. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India expects China to work for complete disengagement and de-escalation and full restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas. New Delhi asserts that Islamabad needs to provide unhindered and unimpeded consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Very low coronavirus cases and deaths per million recorded in the country due to proactive response, says Health Minister Harshvardhan. Total COVID-19 recoveries in the country surpasses 13 lakh mark. First Kisan special parcel train to start from tomorrow for providing seamless supply of perishable produce. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The country's first Kisan special parcel train, or Kisan Rail, will start from tomorrow. The train will start at 11 a.m. and it will transport material between Maharashtra's Devlali and Bihar's Danapur railway station. The Kisan Rail will carry fruits and vegetables and will make stoppages at several stations and pick up and deliver them. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar and Rail Minister Piyush Goyal will flag off this train through video link. Railways aims to help double farmers' income with the launch of Kisan Rail. This will help in bringing perishable agricultural products like vegetables and fruits to the market in a short period of time. Our correspondent reports that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had announced to start Kisan Rail in the current year's budget for providing a seamless supply chain of perishable produce. RBI Governor Dr. Shaktikanta Das today said that the Apex Bank's Monetary Policy Committee has decided to unanimously leave the policy repo rate unchanged at 4%. He added that RBI will continue with the accommodative stance of monetary policy as long as necessary to revive growth, mitigate the impact of COVID-19 while ensuring that inflation remains within the target going forward. In an address after the conclusion of the 3-day MPC meeting today via video conferencing, Dr. Das said the marginal standing facility MSF rate and the bank rate remain unchanged at 4.25%. He said the reverse repo rate stands unchanged at 3.35%. He said the MPC's assessment is that the global economic activity has remained fragile and in retrenchment in the first half of 2020.
The MPC sifted through domestic and global conditions and evaluated their unfolding impact on the overall outlook for India and the world. At the end of its deliberations, the MPC voted unanimously to leave the policy repo rate unchanged at 4% and continue with the accommodative stance of monetary policy as long as necessary to revive growth, mitigate the impact of COVID-19 while ensuring that inflation remains within the target going forward.
The RBI governor said the headline CPI inflation, which was at 5.8% in March 2020, was placed at 6.1% in the provisional estimates for June 2020. He said given the uncertainty surrounding the inflation outlook, an extremely weak state of the economy in the midst of an unprecedented shock from the ongoing pandemic, the MPC decided to keep the policy rate on hold.
CBI has registered a case relating to the death of actor Sushant Singh Rajput. The case has been registered against 6 accused: Ray Chakravarti, Indrajit Chakravarti, Sandhya Chakravarti, Souvik Chakravarti, Samuel Miranda, and Shruti Modi and others. CBI constituted a special investigative team SIT under Manoj Shashidhar, a Gujarat cadre IPS officer, to investigate the Sushant Singh Rajput suicide case. In Karnataka, heavy rains have resulted in a landslide near Talakaveri. 4 persons were reported missing. The chief priest and his family of a temple were residing at the spot where the landslide occurred today. Chief Minister B.S. Yaduvarappa has directed the district administration to release 10,000 rupees interim relief to those affected by the rain. He has also asked the administration to open relief camps in schools and colleges and has also asked them to send crop loss details at the earliest. Revenue Minister R. Ashoka, who interacted with the district administration today, has said that red alert is sounded in coastal Karnataka, Shivamoga, Chikmagalur and Hassan. He also said that NDRF teams are already deployed in Kodagu, Dharwad, Belagavi and in coastal Karnataka. The water level in the Kaveri and its tributaries are flowing at high level. In Kerala, as heavy rain continues in major parts of the state, widespread damage is being reported across Kerala. High alert is issued in landslide-prone areas, low-lying regions and coastal areas of the state. As Met Department predicts heavy rain to continue till Sunday, special teams of National Disaster Response Force has reached the state.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray today took stock of the state administration's preparedness in the wake of the incessant heavy rains since the last 3 days. The Chief Minister also spoke to the authorities of the India Meteorological Department, IMD, to have an idea of the days ahead. State Relief and Rehabilitation Minister Vijay Wadedittiwar visited the control room at the Secretariat in Mumbai yesterday night. Here's more from our correspondent.
Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray today reviewed the preparedness of the state, which has been witnessing heavy rains from last 3 days. Besides Mumbai and its adjoining places, various areas in Konkan region, including Raigad, Ratnagiri and Kolhapur, have been severely affected by the heavy downpour. Thackeray asked Konkan and Pune divisional commissioners to focus on shifting to safer places those living near the rivers whose water levels were rising due to heavy rains. CM said there are 16 NDRF teams deployed in rain-hit areas of the state, out of which 4 have been sent to Kolhapur. He asked the authorities concerned to remain alert in view of the water level in rivers flowing close to the danger mark. These rivers include Panchaganga in Kolhapur, Kodavali in Ratnagiri and Kundalika in Raigad. Devapriya Bhattacharjee, EIR News, Mumbai.
Well, news just in Manipur, a state cabinet meeting held this late evening has decided to extend the ongoing statewide complete lockdown and curfew till the 15th of August in view of rise in COVID-19 cases in the state. The recently affected people are suspected to have been infected through local transmission. The statewide lockdown and curfew commenced from 23rd July till today.
In Sri Lanka, the ruling party led by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is heading for a landslide victory at the general elections held yesterday. The counting of votes is continuing and the Sri Lanka People Party or SLPP is heading for majority votes in at least 16 out of the 22 electoral districts. The party has won around 60% of the around 4 million votes counted so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi telephoned PM Rajapaksa to congratulate him on his victory. The Women Entrepreneurship and Empowerment WEE cohort initiative helps in women ranging from college-going students to middle-aged housewives to take up entrepreneurship as a viable, fulfilling career option. It is India's first-of-its-kind initiative to strengthen women's ecosystem at IIT Delhi, supported and sponsored by the Department of Science and Technology. The cohort was coached and trained by eminent mentors from various fields. Women entrepreneurs from 16 different states across India participated. Dr. Neeta Doshi bagged the bronze award for creating a machine to convert air particles to rain. The rainfall produced by catalyzing precipitation artificially will be addressing large-scale farming, water shortages and water floods aimed at irrigation. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Doshi said WEE was a learning experience.
For me to get selected across the nation amongst various sectors and states. Special thanks to Sarandip Sarji and Aparna for getting us all together and mentoring. It was a platform for all of the enthusiastic women entrepreneurs together. We had lot of interesting experiences and encounters. It was great fun and learning in this little time we got to spend with all. I learned a lot and somehow feel a connect with what each one offers to. We is a journey of experience throughout to believe in our own self. We's input is evident because we all have walked miles since January 2020 and I personally traveled 3,000 kilometers for one session. I'm sure we'll be really successful to proudly share our experiences about the quality time we spent at WE and our achievements.
In the run-up to the Independence Day celebrations, Education Ministry, in partnership with MyGov, is organizing an online essay writing competition for 9th to 10th class students and 11th to 12th class students across the country. During the competition, students will have to write essays on various topics under the theme Atmanirbhar Bharat, Swatantra Bharat. Students may submit their entries on the link innovate.mygov.in/essay by the 14th of this month.
And now news from the world of business.
After rallying 558 points during the day, the BSE Sensex ended 362 points, 0.96% higher at 38,025. The broader NSE Nifty jumped 99 points, 0.89% to 11,200. In the broader market at the BSE, the mid-cap closed 0.77% up and small-cap gained 0.99%. The rupee paired initial gains and settled for the day on a flat note at 74 rupees and 94 paise against US dollar. Gold prices rose by 225 rupees to 56,590 rupees per 10 grams in the national capital, in line with the strong rally in international price of the precious metal. Silver prices also witnessed a strong upward trend as it jumped 1,932 rupees to 75,755 rupees per kilogram. And in intraday trade, Brent crude prices were trading around $45.10 per barrel, while WTI crude prices were around $41.90 per barrel. Arjun Chaudhary with Sanjeev Kumar Singh for AIR News.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have partly cloudy sky with the possibility of development of thunder lightning. It will have a minimum temperature of around 26 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 36. Mumbai will experience generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature will be around 24 degrees Celsius and maximum around 29. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature will hover between 27 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness generally cloudy sky with one or two spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature in the metropolis will be around 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 32. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum should be around 30 degrees Celsius. The city will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be around 18 degrees Celsius and maximum around 32. The city will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards evening or night. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 15 and 30 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 16 and 36 degrees Celsius. It will experience mainly clear sky. In Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature will be 20 degrees Celsius and maximum 34. And now to end the bulletin, the main points again. India expects China to work for complete disengagement and de-escalation and full restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas. New Delhi asserts that Islamabad needs to provide unhindered and unimpeded consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Very low coronavirus cases and deaths per million recorded in the country due to proactive response, says Health Minister Harshvardhan. Total COVID-19 recoveries in the country surpassed 13 lakh mark, and first Kisan special parcel train to start from tomorrow for providing seamless supply of perishable products. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.